so we are continuing in the Holy Book of Sichot Haran, and tonight's class we're up to Torah Mem Aleph, paragraph 41, and tonight we're going to be learning a series of ideas from Sichot Haran, where he's talking about a broken heart. He's talking about how beautiful it is to have a broken heart, and how it's not something to avoid, and the difference between a broken heart and depression. And whereas there's depression is something which we're constantly trying to avoid. Okay, so it goes like this. Lev nishbar v'atzvut eino inyan echad klal. That having a broken heart and being depressed is not the same thing, even though you can call them both sad. You can call a person who's depressed and a person who has a broken heart. A person who's depressed can also call themselves sad, but there's actually a big difference between a person who's depressed and a person that their heart is broken. And he says that it actually is two different physical phenomena. That ki lev nishbar hu belev, because a broken heart, you're feeling your broken heart in your heart, and atzvus hu b'minat chol, as opposed to depression. Depression comes from your spleen. Okay, that's based on some Aristotelian kind of belief that there's some extract that comes from your spleen. It doesn't matter, but he's saying that it's something else. It's a different feeling. It's a different state of mind, and you should not mix the two up. Now, I want to, by means of introduction, I want to say that this is a very important thing to be talking about now in the month of Elul, because a lot of people are terrified of Elul. A lot of people have trauma from Elul, and from them, like that Elul is all about beating themselves up. Elul is all about being told by other people and by telling themselves that you're not good enough, and you never will be good enough, and you deserve to die, and you need to really shape up, or else. And there's a certain stress and a certain feeling just like, I don't want to be here. I really don't. I don't enjoy this idea of being judged and being held up to a standard, and like this can actually break a person. And it's not fun. It's not fun to feel like a failure. Is not a good place to be. So, how to deal with this dissonance between where we are and we would like to be, where we should be quotation marks, because like of course we are where we're supposed to be, but where we would like to be in our ideal dreams for ourselves, where we would put ourselves. So it's always this distance where we are and where we like to be. How do you deal with this? And so Rebbe is really saying that depression and lev nishbar are actually two different expressions, two different responses to this dissonance. Okay? Yeah.
Just clarifying, is he talking literally about a broken heart, or the feeling of loss in general? Like, is it specifically heartbreak, or?
We're going to talk about exactly what he means.
Literal broken heart.
Right. When you said literal, I didn't know what you meant. Like it's not that he needs heart surgery. It's that it's heartbreak.
Yeah.
Heartbreak. Even though that there is a connection. Like I was my Rosh Hashiva,
Mm-hmm.
So he died of heartbreak.
Wow.
He literally. It's not an illness. It's really a state of mind, and he really died from heartbreak. He was very broken from the fact that he didn't have money to pay his avrechem, and all of his colleagues and his friends said, like in every phone call, he was like just sighing, and he was really broken from the fact that these like thousands of people are depending on him, and he can't be there for them, and in the medical certificate, like it said that he died of dom lev, which is a joke, because dom lev just means that your heart stops, and everybody that's dead, their heart stops. So it doesn't, that doesn't answer the question. Why did your heart stop? So he his heart stopped because of heartbreak, because of just heartache. It's very so there is something of a broken heart can actually be literal, but but we're talking about a feeling brokenness, a feeling of that I'm not where I should be, and that to feel broken. So he says that's actually a good thing. Okay, so he says like this, that so depression, he says, that comes from the spleen, it comes from the other side, it comes from the sources of evil. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Hashem hates it. Hashem hates when people are depressed. But when a person has a broken heart, that is very beloved before Hashem. It's just very precious. It's very precious when a person is able to have a broken heart. It's very precious, and it's so good. And it would really be ideal for a person to have a broken heart the entire day. But he says that's not practical. There's a fine line between having a broken heart and getting depressed. So you might come from the brokenness to a depression. So he says that it's not good to be the whole day. It's good to have 1 hour, and this is where he says that when should we be practicing having a lev nishbar? We should be doing this during hitbadadut. The time of hitbadadut, standing before Hashem. This is the time to feel that our heart is broken. Liyachid is a shab b'yom shiyeh lo lev nishbar dahainu hisbaydeit u'l'shaber liba lefanav yisbarach k'muvor b'makom acher, and to break his heart before Hashem, like he explained elsewhere. Aval shar hayom kulo yeh rak b'simcha. But the rest of the day, just to be b'simcha. So what does this mean? That he's talking about during his hisbaydedus. He's talking about that a person is standing before God and he's feeling a broken heart. So what exactly is he saying? So I'll tell you what he's saying. He's standing before Hashem and he's feeling his inadequateness. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's feeling about the fact that this is not how I envisioned my life. This is not how I would like to be living. This is not what I told myself yesterday that I want to be. This is not what I told myself this morning that I want to be. And life is not going. And Hashem, I really feel bad about this. I really feel bad about this. That's the breaking. That's the feeling of a broken heart. Like when we talk about the heartache of a breakup. So it's you're in a relationship and you appreciated that state of being in a relationship, and then when the relationship ends, you feel a miss for that state of relationship, like a state of miss that it's not. My heart is broken in the sense that it's. I used to feel more complete. Mm-hmm. I used to feel more that things are the way they should be, and now I feel that it's broken in the sense now it's lacking. So broken, like it's things aren't working. I used to feel full, and now I feel missing. Right. So the brokenness it's not a reference to the fact that it's like not functioning. In fact, it's functioning very well. It's just that it's broken in the sense that it requires fixing. And that's really what we're talking about. A broken heart. When we're saying that a broken heart that is precious before Hashem, what we mean is that a heart that is aware of the fact that it requires fixing. That is what is precious before Hashem. So that is something that is very, very appropriate for Elul. And I think what Rabbi Nachman is saying, that the place to experience our Lev Nishbar is through Hitbadadut. So what he really means is that by doing it through Hitbadadut, by feeling our Lev Nishbar in the context of coming before Hashem, so it's by definition healthy. Meaning that if I've given up, then I'm not going to show up before Hashem. The fact that I'm talking to Hashem, that means that I haven't really given up.
That's right? So hard though, because it's like you're taught to say thank you and I appreciate and ask, and here you're coming to the Creator and you're like, I'm unhappy with what you've given me. Like it's very like.
So I agree with that sentiment that if you're coming to complain, that's exactly what, like I'll read what he says next. Mm-hmm. That he says complaining is actually not a function of a broken heart. Complaining is a function of depression. Mm-hmm. He writes, this is Membet, this is paragraph 42. Atzvut, depression, who k'mo mishu bekas, a person who's just angry, u'beroges, k'mo shemisraim u'misloinen alav yisbarach chas v'shalom, al she'eno osa l'ritzana, that he's complaining before Hashem. Okay, so a person who's depressed whines. A person that they're just down and like everything is off, and whatever you tell them, they have some way to make it sound less exciting, and to tell you why it's really not as good as you think it is, and whenever even the best news, the person who's depressed will find a reason not to be happy about the best news, and and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. You'll break up, I'm sure. Don't worry. Give it time. And
I got a new job. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm sure of a toxic boss. I'm sure that that everything is wrong with it, and you don't appreciate it. And there's always is perspective, but that's depression. Depression is when you're always focusing on the bad, and you're always able to break anything good. And so a person who's always complaining, it's a symptom of the fact that he's depressed. A person. We're talking about in the class about order, how people have a natural desire for coherence, and so that's why we were talking about that, and how a person who's very angry and walks into a room that everything is perfectly set up, that there's a notion to throw things on the floor and to mess things up, because I want the outside to be in reflecting what's my inside. If that person who's really organized on the inside, so they appreciate a nice orderly outside, and the person who's messed up and chaotic on the inside, he wants a chaotic outside, and that's the way we're programmed to want such a thing. So a person who's down, and you show up and you're excited, so they don't like that. They're no, this is my territory. This is Depressedville, and don't come here with your smiles. Let me tell you something. Yeah.
Is there a difference between a pessimist and someone who's depressed?
I'm sure there's a difference, but a pessimist is oftentimes depressed, and a depressed person is always a pessimist. So. Okay. So there are different points. A pessimist is more specific in the fact that you're always looking at the downside of things. It's a symptom of being depressed. Mm-hmm. When you have no hope, when everything is by definition horrible, so of course you think that you're being real by focusing on the negative. So that's what he says. That the person who's always complaining, that's a symptom of the fact that he's depressed. And that does not mean having a broken heart. And what does it mean to have a broken heart? On the other hand, he says, that Lev Nishbar, he reacts to the exact same loss from a different place, from a place of yearning, from a place of wishing, from a place of dreaming, and feeling the distance, and feeling the pain of not being there. And it's not complaining, it's not whining, it's wishing, it's a desire to be somewhere else. And so if you think about it, that these two emotions are actually quite opposites of one another, because when I'm complaining, so then I'm actually happy, so to speak. I'm comfortable in my lack. Whereas when I'm yearning, I want to get forward. So that's why a person who has a broken heart, so that it actually propels them forwards. So that's why it's a healthy thing. A person who feels broken, about something that they've done. So they're excited to move forward. They want to get out of that feeling of distance. They want to fill the distance. And whereas a person who's just whining, they just keep on whining. It's years and years. They can keep on whining, keep on complaining, and it doesn't get them anywhere, because it actually it was created to keep them in this state of not getting anywhere. So the difference between depression and the broken heart is that the depression is stagnant. Depression is being comfortable in a state of lacking, and giving up on a better tomorrow, giving up on the concept of things changing, of things being in a better situation. Whereas Lev Nishbar, when a person is feeling this pain, feeling the lack, so I'm feeling the pain because I know that it can and will be better tomorrow. So you can't have the pain of heartbreak unless you actually believe in a better future. So that's why it's very beautiful, because it actually propels you forward. And it's actually the best way when you're not where you want to be, which is all of us. We aren't where we want to be. So the thing that's going to propel us forward is to feel the pain in the fact that we're not there. And so this is what I like to explain. That this is the difference between shame and guilt. Which is I think other people say this backwards. I think other people say it differently. I'm not saying who's right, but like the way I understand things is that shame is a very good thing. Shame is a Jewish midah that Chazal say that there's three midot of Jews, that they're rachmanim, that they're compassionate, they're baishanim, that they have shame, and they're gomlei chasadim, they do acts of kindness. So it's actually Chazal look at it at having shame as a positive thing, and Chazal say in the Gemara that kol mi she'en lo busha shelo amdu raglav al har Sinai, a person that isn't able to have shame, so it's a sign that he's not really Jewish, and so when like somebody asks you, like, how could you have done that? Have you no shame? And so, what do they mean? Have you no shame? It means that a person who has shame, he wouldn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. So if a person says, no, I try to live my life shame-free. I used to live with my shame, and that's why it's confusing, because in the world of psychology, like they talk about the shame as a negative emotion, that I don't want to feel shame. They talk about feeling shame for what happened to me, and feeling shamed of like things that weren't under my control, and that's the kind of shame that they're talking about. Like, just let's rid ourselves of shame. Let's try. But we're talking about shame about doing something. Like a person that has shame means that the fact that I did something wrong, the fact that I did something that goes against my better judgment and what I actually would have wanted to do. So if I have shame, that means that I actually hold myself to a higher standard. To have no shame would mean that, like, yeah, I can punch you, I can offend you, I can do whatever I want, I can steal, I can just like show up whenever I want and not respect other people's time, not protect other people's feelings, and like I have no shame. Like that's disgusting. A person that has no shame, everybody makes mistakes. It's like the Chazal are not going to say that the difference between Jews and non-Jews is that Jews don't make mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. But when you make a mistake, how do you react? Mm-hmm. So a Jew, how does he react to making a mistake? He reacts with shame, and that's beautiful. Now, on the other hand, what's guilt? Guilt is not the feeling of dissonance between where I would like to be and where I am. Guilt, on the other hand, is simply this bad feeling of I don't like how this feels.
Yeah.
I did something wrong, and like if I'm gonna guilt you into doing something, so I'm gonna ask you to help me move something, and you're gonna say like I'm sorry, I really can't do it, I'm busy. So I'll say, but come on, what kind of friend are you? Like, you don't remember, like last week I was helping you, like. Mm-hmm. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to guilt you. That's like this is the what they call Jewish guilt, which is a horrible thing, because it's not a Jewish thing to guilt somebody, and to try to guilt you into doing something is basically to try to cause you pain, that from your feeling of pain you're going to agree because you want to free yourself of that pain. Right? So a feeling of guilt, the difference between guilt and shame is that when I'm feeling guilt, I'm focusing on the discomfort of being in this spot that I'm not where you expect me to be. Whereas when I'm feeling shame, I'm not focusing on where I am, I'm focusing on where I'm not. You understand the difference? So there's a very practical difference between the two. Because when I'm feeling guilty, when I'm feeling guilt, so you're guilting me into trying to feel bad about the fact that I'm not helping you, right? So I could help you. That's one way to get rid of this feeling of guilt. But now there's other options. I could take drugs. I could kill myself. Chas v'shalom. There's lots of ways to get rid of the pain. Whereas with shame, so the feeling that I'm feeling is focused on where I'm not. I'm focused on, I would like to be there. I'm feeling the pain of distance. So there's only one way to get rid of this feeling of missing, and that is to attain that thing that I'm missing. So that's why the feeling of shame actually propels me forward, whereas the feeling of guilt, even if it's going to propel me forward, it doesn't actually make me want to be a better person. It just makes me want to get rid of the pain. Right? So that's why it's also, it's not for now, but it's for raising kids. That's like you can coerce kids into doing something because they're going to do the right thing because they want to escape the pain, or you could coerce them to doing something because they want to be a better person. It's day and night. It's a different motivation of how to get somebody to move. So this is the difference between a broken heart and depression. And Rabbi Nachman says that the feeling of a broken heart is very precious before Hashem, and it's he's beloved. He's beloved before Hashem at that moment that he's feeling this broken heart. So what precisely is he feeling when he's feeling this dissonance? So what exactly is the feeling which is so beautiful? So the truth is that because we're human and because we're always making mistakes, so it's actually impossible for us to feel a full heart. A person that would feel a full heart is actually being delusional, because how could you possibly feel that you have a full heart, right? So, and this is actually what it means that a broken heart is precious before Hashem. You know, there's a famous quote from the Kotzker that there's nothing more complete than a full heart, than a broken heart. There's nothing more complete than a broken heart. Like, so, ever wonder what that meant? Like, what's it mean that there's nothing more complete than a broken heart? It means that a full heart is delusional. You're just cuckoo. If you have a full heart, so what's wrong with you? I mean, the Kotzker himself happened to have been extremely depressed. but the truth is that if you have a full heart, that there's something wrong with you. Like if everything is perfect, so like there's like, do you not watch do you not read the news? You're not aware? Are you not aware of yourself? Do you actually think that you are God's gift to humanity? Do you actually think that you're living up to, like some people are in this delusion. Some people are, like Shlomo would talk about these people that like they're the most disgusting people you ever met, and like they're always yelling, and they're always telling people off, and they're aggressive and abusive even, and like when you ask them like, no, what are your plans for Elul? What's your tshuva plans? So they'll say, I was thinking that maybe it's time for me to start putting on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. Maybe I don't know if 6 hours is enough after meat. Maybe I'll start this year to wait 7 hours. That's what I need to grow in this year. Like, I don't know. I checked all the Shulchan Aruch and like I couldn't find anything. So like it's like that's delusional. A person that feels a full heart, that there's something wrong with them. So it's very complete to have a broken heart, because that means that you're in touch with reality. There's a very beautiful piece from the Pesachner Rebbe that he talks about this club, this chabura, that he put together. He called this chabura B'nai Machshavot Tova, the children of good thoughts, the clan for people with good thoughts. So he writes at the beginning of the book that the guidelines for this book, the guidelines for this chabura, and he says that our group, our chabura, is meant for people that are really, really dissatisfied with where they are in life. And like I don't mean like that you understand intellectually. If you don't understand intellectually that you're not where you should be, then you're just crazy. I mean that you're really feeling it. Like every once in a while you just break down crying because you're not where you would like to be in life. That's the kind of people. That's the kind of people that it's for our chevra. And if you're not that kind of person, so please leave us alone. We're not for you, and you're not for us. let's just go our own ways and leave it at that. To be honest, I'm not even so comfortable with the fact that you're reading this book. but there's nothing I can do about that. But please understand that if you're actually going to join our group, so then it's only for people who are completely broken about how far they are from where they would like to be. And so that's a feeling of brokenness. That's what it means to have a broken heart. That means that a person is acutely aware of the fact that I'm not at the end. And so this feeling is, on the one hand, it's not a good feeling, because who wants to feel that they're not there? On the other hand, it's actually beautiful. It's like when you rewire your brain to understand that this is actually what I want to be. So then it's not so sad anymore. When it's cool to cry, so then the guy that doesn't cry is a loser.
So true.
Right? So he's trying to create this safe space where we're all in agreement that it's cool to feel that we have not reached where we would like to be. And you have these societies where everybody's showing up, and everybody's showing off and talking about all their accomplishments, talking about how much money they make and what cars they drive, and you show up and you're like
today.
I made a joke to the secretary in MRC that because the director asked us they asked us for the purposes of having courses accredited by Torah College. So tell about the course and tell about your credentials. So thank you. So I wrote this to secretary, my credentials: high school dropout, college dropout. I don't really prepare for class. I don't. That's
Whoa.
And it's like because when you're asking send us your CV, so you put you in the mindset that now I have to show up. Now I have to show I have to present myself as somebody who's so accomplished, and
So they proved you based on honesty.
No, I lied for them.
Oh.
I didn't lie. I didn't say the whole truth. I said where I went to college. I didn't say if I finished or not. So the what you call it? So when we make this, if you make a safe space for that, it's cool to not be if it's cool to be lacking, so then the opposite. Then the guy that says what about you? What's your what's your biggest biggest struggle in life? And you say oh, I'm good.
Right.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool. If you so that's what's so beautiful about this. Just simply a shift in mentality, that it's beautiful, it's precious to have a broken heart. That's what Rabbi Nachman is putting on the table here, and through this shift in mentality, so we can adapt, we can make peace with the fact that we can embrace our not being complete. We can embrace the fact that we're human, and that's really it's really precious because it's actually the absolute truth. Because a person who actually thinks that they're there is actually in delusion. So this is that's why Rabbi Nachman was in the question, the difference between Torah and Tefillah. So Rabbi Nachman was a big part of the Tefillah, because the difference between Torah and Tefillah is Torah, when you're involved in Torah, so it's about what you know, and like it's about your accomplishments. Like when you're engaging in Torah, so the feeling of learning Torah is that I'm accumulating. So it puts me into a mindset of that I want to have. I'm in a better state the more that I have. Whereas when I'm in a state of tefillah, the state of mind that I need to reach in order to be an expert in tefillah is a state of mind of lack, a state of mind of where I'm not, where I would like to be, and being very, very aware, very, very in touch with that state of where I'm not there, I would like to be there, and I'm pained that I'm not there. This is Rabbi Nachman's one of his most famous stories. The first story that he told is the story of the lost princess, and this is the message. This is the message of the story of the lost princess. At least the first part of the story is the story of yearning. Of the essence to succeed in life is to be yearning, is to be constantly asking myself, like, if only I could be a real Jew, if only I could begin to fulfill my what I was meant to do. That's cool. That's cool to be in a state that I wish I could be better. And not only that, but the more that I feel that I'm lacking, that's how great I am. We spoke about this a little bit before Tisha B'Av, that Tisha B'Av is about mourning. Right? So what do we gain from mourning? What we gain from mourning is that feeling a lack actually turns us into a bigger person. Meaning a person that doesn't lack anything, that's what I am. If we have two people that they both have $100,000, and one of them used to be a billionaire, and then somebody scammed him and he lost all his money. The other guy, so he used to be homeless, and like he found $10,000 on the floor. So one guy is jumping for joy, the other guy is depressed, right? Who's actually richer? So in his head, the homeless guy is still a homeless guy. So he's jumping for joy because in his head, his financial status is that he's a homeless guy. So he's jumping for joy because whoever heard of a homeless guy that has $100,000? Whereas the billionaire, so in his head, he's still a billionaire.
Right.
So we said the story with Napoleon that Napoleon was walking by after Tisha B'Av, before Tisha B'Av, and he hears people crying, and he says, "What are they crying about?" He says they're crying because their temple was destroyed, and he didn't understand because he didn't hear about any temple being destroyed. So they went and they told him that no, it was destroyed 2,000 years ago. And he says, "Really? There's still
less than 2,000 years ago.
Okay, whatever it was that 1,000."
Well, yeah, a little over 1,000.
Okay, so they're still crying. They're still crying over something that happened over 1,000 years ago. He said, "I swear, if they're still crying over a temple that's destroyed 1,000 years ago, I swear they're going to get their temple back." Because in their head, they're still in that. This is where we should be. So if you're feeling that lack, then you're still there. You have it by means of the fact that you're yearning for it. So that's what's so precious. The more that your leiv is nishbar, the more that your heart is broken, so that you're still connected to that better state, to that better tomorrow, to that better place that you're going to be, and you're actually going to get there. So this is really what is so precious about the broken heart is that it actually expands how big you are. It expands what kind of person you are, where your limits are. That person who's yearning, so the limits are to be extraordinary, and the more that you're yearning for that, so then the closer you are to it, and the more that you're able to imagine yourself as being greater, the further you are away from that state of greatness, which means that you're going to have a greater brokenness. So the more broken you are, that actually proves that your true state of being is much greater. the Alter Nevardik would say that I don't judge somebody. I don't assess somebody based on if they do good things or if they don't do good things. I assess somebody based on what we consider good. You know, like what is your ideal? What are you striving for? You have a person who's actually on the bottom, but they're striving for something very, very awesome, and he's actually a greater person than a person who's doing everything good, but he is okay with being mediocre. He's okay with just like getting by. So the other guy, that his vision of greatness is much more defining than what he's actually doing. So that's why the nishbar is something which is so necessary, and it's a beautiful way to go into Elul. I think that, like, in terms of, like, to circle back, that we're talking about this today, like, obviously besides the fact that it's what we're up to, but we're talking about, like, different approaches to Elul, and, like, there's an approach to Elul that causes a person to just give up. And I'll tell you another thing. Like, it's the next paragraph. He writes, that through depression you forget your name. And he says, so this is, it says in where is it from? Maybe the Shalah, that it says that there's different psukim that you should say at the end of Shemana Esrei. Psukim that have to do with your name. You have to say a pasuk that has the first letter of your name and the last letter of your name, and that reminds you of your name. And why do we want to be reminded of our name? Because when we die, so they're going to ask us, what's your name? And there's a concern that we're going to forget. So that's why if you say this letter, if you say this psukim, then you're going to remember your name. Okay? So Rav Nachman says, you know why the dead person, when we're dead, there's this concern that we're going to forget our name? Because depressed people don't know their name. And when you're dead, you're depressed. Now this connects with what we discussed a different time, that the Balatanya writes that the person who's depressed, you're dead. A person who's depressed is actually dead, and the person who's dead is depressed. So what does it mean? What does Rabbi Nachman mean that when he says that through depression you don't know your name? This is what it means. It means that you're not in touch with your truth. You're not in touch with your potential. You're not in touch with where I really am. A person who has a broken heart, they're very in touch with my greatness, with how things could be. And I'm not there, but I know where I should be. I know what I would like to be. So that actually defines me.
That was Moshe too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was very humble, but he was very much aware of, like, where he could be, like, and davening to be in Eretz Yisrael.
I don't see so much in Moshe Rabbeinu that he was broken. We don't see this aspect of him that he would beat himself up and say, why can't you be better? Like, when we see Moshe Rabbeinu, we see completion. We see that he was awesome. It could be that I'm sure that he had even greater dreams for himself. He had even greater plans for himself. And so this is what it means. Like, when you don't know your name, it means that you don't know your potential. It means that when you're depressed, you just give up. You just embrace mediocrity. You embrace that. Okay, so I'm a loser. Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Mr. Loser. I'm the guy that's never gonna get a job. I'm never gonna make anything with my life. Nice to meet you. Tell me about your big jobs. It makes me feel good, because I like, it's like that giving up, that's conceding that I have no better future. That's what depression is. Mm-hmm. And that's what it means to forget my name. That's what it means to forget my name, to forget my greatness, to forget what I really was meant to be, and to understand that I don't have to be there. Nobody's there. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to be on a journey, to feel this dissonance, to feel this distance from where I would like to be. And that feeling is very, very precious. Okay, so it's really a game changer. It's really like the only reason why people don't like to feel this broken heart is because somebody tells them that you're supposed to feel like you're good, like you're 100%, and it's like it's a bluff, it's a lie. Like whoever told you that this is how we're supposed to present ourselves, this is what's cool. So it's actually a very detrimental way to go through life, and a much more useful way and a much more truthful way is to go through life with this Lev Nishbar, and to now. But at the same time, Rabbi Nachman is very aware of the fact that it has its dangerous side as well.
Yeah.
Because if a person is constantly talking about where they would like to be, then like it comes across as, it's very similar to complaining. It's very like the line between yearning and complaining is very, very subtle. So
You can get to Yerush too.
you get to Yosh, and you get to you can forget that there's actually a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's why Rabbi Nachman says that you need to set aside a certain amount of time every day. He recommends an hour a day to put yourself into. Now the problem with this is that how many time do we have to be with ourselves in the first place? So if the only time that you have to be with yourself, you're talking about where you would like to be, then you have the same problem. He wants that the majority of the time that you're in touch with your emotions, you're feeling happiness. You're looking at the half of the cup which is full. You're appreciating the fact that you have a soul. You're appreciating the good points that you've done, the nekudot tovot that you've done, and you're looking, like I'm not so bad. I've come a long way, and like you're appreciating the simcha of how far you've come. And then 1 hour a day, like let's say 1/24th of your real time. That's the time to focus on where you'd like to be. That's the time to focus on the yearning, and that is a very healthy way to come into Elul, to think that like, wow, I haven't given up yet. I haven't, like, it's such a beautiful, it really is a beautiful thing to, like, when you mess up, or like when you're struggling, and like you're trying to do something, and it just keep on falling, and this feeling of frustration, and then bringing the frustration to Hashem, and then like, Hashem, like, okay, now I'm ready to start. Now, like, I don't like this, and I want to be in a better place. And actually, one last point is that the Rabbi Nachman says that it's, he writes this later, that through Lev Nishbar you come to Simcha. So this is something that the Tanya writes as well. That but the Tanya explains exactly why. That what does it mean that through Lev Nishbar, through having a broken heart, you're going to come to Simcha? So he says that the Simcha that comes from the broken heart is that to understand, to appreciate that Hashem appreciates my Lev Nishbar. When I'm feeling this yearning, when I'm feeling that I'm not where I would like to be, and then I take a step back and I say, wow, I'm so awesome. Like, I was supposed to have a Lev Nishbar, and I had a Lev Nishbar. I'm doing A++. So that is exactly what's bringing me Simcha. So if when you're depressed, then you're not doing what Hashem wants. So of course, how are you supposed to get to Simcha? Then it's just going to bring you forward, to move you forward in your depression. So this is really a healthy way to go to Elul, with moderation, not too much time, not too much at one time, but to think about our dreams for ourselves, to create a vision of where we would like to be, and to feel that it's sad that we're not there, and to realize that it's happy that we're sad that we're not there. We're so fortunate that we're sad that we're not there, because that really says a lot about who we are, right? And it's a catch-22. There's a famous letter from Rav Hutner that somebody wrote him this letter where he was complaining about the fact that he feels like such a failure, and he feels like such a nothing, and he writes him that your entire letter screams the opposite of what you think about yourself. Because if you would actually be nothing, then you wouldn't be writing me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Turn a nothing into a something? The only reason why you're writing to me is because you know that you're a something. And you know that this does not really represent your true self. So that is your proof. The fact that you feel bad about where you are, that's the proof that you're not bad. It's like, I have this conversation with people all the time. It's like a person comes to me, they feel broken, and because they feel broken, they feel like a nobody. And I say, hello, then why are you talking to me? The fact that you're talking to me proves that you know that this is not real. You know that this is not your true self, and you know that you're actually a great person, and you're just in a down. So like, you can't deny the facts. The facts are that you're actually awesome, and you're awesome because you recognize that it's not okay to stay in the mud. So I bless us all that we should be able to have a healthy relationship with our lackings, a healthy relationship with the fact that we're human, and because we're human, we're not where we're going to be when we're finished, because life is a journey. And B'ezrat Hashem, that through this Lev Nishbar, it should bring us to a simcha, because there's so much to appreciate in the fact that we're fortunate to be in this special club of people who are okay feeling their lack. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.